Hey guys, I'm Juliet Huddy from the luxury travel curation site jetsetjuliettravels.com. While I am a former network television anchor and correspondent, I still do obviously like to keep track of what's going on in the world, especially when it comes to travel. And as I was sipping my chai tea latte this morning, I stumbled upon something that really piqued my interest, and I wanted to share it with you.
But before we get to this, a little background. A lot of times I'll have a client call me up and say, "Hey, can you help me plan a trip to, let's say, Europe?" Of course. Where do you want to go? When? And what kind of hotel do you want to stay in? Well, I want to go to Italy in September, but I want to save money on the accommodation. So I'd rather stay in an Airbnb than a hotel.
Are you sure about that? Let me explain.
Ask any of my clients, and they'll tell you I've encouraged them to think twice about going the Airbnb VRBO route. One of the big reasons is I've noticed the rates have slowly started to inch up since COVID.
It's been very incremental, but it's enough that and other factors are enough to get me to the point where I have said I am just not comfortable booking you with any of these holiday rental travel platforms.
This morning, my concerns were validated. Big news. According to reports, demand for Airbnb has been declining. In fact, recently they've seen a 15% drop in earnings. Why? Several reasons. Number one, bad press. I mean, we've all heard the stories about hosts planting hidden cameras, forcing guests to leave the house in pristine, spick and span condition, despite the guest paying sometimes hundreds of dollars for a post stay cleaning service. There's also the listings that look really nice on the site, but when you show up in person, you're like, what the? Or worst case scenario, showing up at the doorstep of your Airbnb after flying all night, you're totally exhausted, only to find the host MIA or the property not ready, or worse, pulled last minute, leaving you with nowhere to stay.
Now, these are all huge, and not just from my clients' experience, but from my own experience, they're not as uncommon as you might think.
But this morning, again, a new revelation. According to Which Travel out of the UK, holiday rental platforms like Airbnb and VRBO aren't the bargain we think they are. In fact, in a study of 50 popular world tourist destinations, private rentals averaged roughly 20% more than hotels. In Amsterdam, you're going to pay 58% more for a one-bedroom holiday rental than you would for a comparable hotel room. In Santorini, it jumped to 71%. Now, I will say, when you book a holiday rental like an Airbnb or VRBO, you are probably going to get a larger space. You may get a balcony or even a terrace, a kitchen, maybe a second bathroom.
You're also going to potentially get the experience of living like a local, which is always something that I encourage my clients to do because obviously hotels are typically in the tourist zones, which are not my favorite.
Also, this same study found that Airbnbs and VRBOs are totally more cost effective when you're with a group because, of course, you can share the cost.
Still, there's one more thing, and it's something that I touched upon earlier. Even though you've already paid for it, even though if you would have canceled prior to your arrival, you probably would have been dinged hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Even though all of that stuff is true, your property is not guaranteed.
And that's because the fate of that gorgeous Malibu beach house or Parisian flat is in the hands of not Airbnb or VRBO, but the host, not a company, but a human being who can be unpredictable.
And that's why, as a travel curator, somebody who doesn't just book trips, but somebody who carefully, methodically, respectfully designs vacations, I feel personally that it's irresponsible of me to book you in a property that carries risks and that can't be guaranteed. I only work with companies that can guarantee your room is going to be waiting for you when you get there.
So the lesson is, dear jet setter, think carefully, very carefully, next time you get ready to hit that book button.